Hey guys, this is Paul Lozick. It's July the 5th, and I just want to bring you up to date to where we're at with Same Boat Ministries. About 6 months ago, a church in Maracaibo, these people have been traveling for 3 or 4 years down to the Venezuelan Amazon, almost on the border of Brazil, trying to establish a relationship with a group down there called the Shiriana. They've actually taken two missionary families, I'll show you them in a moment, down there, and they have been living with these people off and on for 4 years, actually two couples and their children. They've been learning the language. They've been trying to create a phonetic form, a written form of this language to translate the Bible, but consistently they've run into difficulties down there because the government will not allow non-native people to stay down there very long. So, trying to be careful with my words here. So a deal was struck where if these missionaries could help these natives to find water through drilling a well, that they would be allowed to stay down there. So they approached us at Genesis and asked Jose Angel if he would be willing to help them. And he is our drilling expert, has the equipment, has the knowledge. I did not want to do this initially. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. It was going to require Jose Angel to leave for almost a month to go down there with them. It's quite remote and possibly very dangerous. And so I was not for it. As you can see, it's about 2 days travel by car from where we are down to Ciudad Guayana, and then from there down it's 5 days by boat going against the current to where these people live. So want to see if I can this is kind of what convinced me, and this verse I've used before, and it's helped me to get over a lot of stumbling blocks in the past. But it says, deliver those who are drawn toward death and hold back those stumbling to the slaughter. Much like these people who do not know anything about the Bible or God or Jesus. They worship spirits of rocks and trees and have a really crazy belief system about what happens to them when they die. And so it says, if you say, surely we did not know this, does not he who weighs the heart consider it? Well, unfortunately for us, we know about this. So we're in the position of responsibility. It says, he who keeps your heart, does he not know it? Well, God knows that we know. And will he not render to each man according to his deeds? So that seems like a pretty direct order from God for us. So these guys left Valencia, went down to this Puerto Ordaz 2 days by car. This is our vehicle. They got it loaded to the gills with food and equipment and all kinds of things that they imagined that they might need. And then they took off 5 days on a boat, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. But there's 5 different communities out here. I've got one of them covered up, I think, with my picture. But they went to the one that is spelled Kosoiba, Kosoiba. They refer to it as Kos, K-O-S. And this is the main village where there's about 250 people. And so basically this is part of their journey. So about 5 people, and about 5 actually native people, and the rest all part of this team with Jose Angel. So 12 of them total on this boat with 500 or 600 pounds of equipment. This is one of the missionary families, probably 3 or 4 years ago. This is the other missionary family 3 or 4 years ago. They've been going back and forth, visiting, staying with these people, learning the language, trying to create a phonetic form that can create a written language so they can translate the Bible. These people are committed, which is another one of the reasons that we decided to help. You can see these are those same kids you saw in the previous picture, but now they're older. right? So they're going back on this trip, and I'm using some slides from the first trip back in September, and then the rest of them are from the slides over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They just returned, by the way, June the 27th to Valencia. So along the way, those 5 days on the boat, they would have to camp out at night. So they would stop along these rivers. And if you can imagine 5 days in a boat doing probably 8 or 9 hours a day, traveling upstream against the current. And Jose Angel tells me it's stunningly beautiful, but it's very hot. There's a lot of creatures and animals and mosquitoes and all kinds of things, and there's absolutely no help out there whatsoever. So they would stop at night. They had to take all the gasoline with them, and I will tell you now that most of the gasoline was used for the trip up and back, which caused a problem for us later, and I'll get into that. You can see a Sawyer filter, which was donated by the Texas Baptist men. Very grateful to them for that. But a lot of this trip was funded by you, those of you who have prayed and supported Genesis and the Same Boat Ministry. But you can see this young man taking river water, running it through that Sawyer filter so that they would have clean water to drink. And as Josean had told me, he said that saved our lives, because a lot of people get sick with this water. So here they are traveling day after day to go down there. One of the places they stopped at night to rest. And then here's a picture from last year when they were unloading supplies to walk up to the village. Actually, this would be a different village, carrying stuff up from the boat. And so it's a long ways down there, guys. So here they are arriving at the destination. This would have been early June. They left sometime in May. So here they are getting off the boat. You can only imagine 5 days on this boat, doing hours and hours and hours out in the heat every day. I really admire these people. So this is their arrival. And some of the native people there that greeted them. And then this is Jose Angel. He's our all-around MacGyver. He's the guy that he's like an engineer. I mean, the guy can solve any problem. He is brilliant with the water. He's trained. He's the guy. So keep him in prayer. And so some of the kids. And here they are walking down to pick up more stuff from the boat. You can see the river down below. This is part of the community, what it looks like there. Jose Angel basically with some of the people eating lunch or dinner. Now these people are not in any way trained in any of our Bible principles. They do not know nor understand anything about our God and what we believe in. And so because of the language barrier, it's a real problem to share this with them. Here they are using the yuca, you can see that in the background behind the ladies, to make cassave bread, which is a long process, removing the actual poison that's in it, and then turning it into these huge loaves of bread. And you can see them drying the bread up on the top of the roof of this one hut. There is a huge spiritual barrier between them and the missionaries, and this is because they cannot understand, most of them. The men speak some Spanish, not much. The women and the children, none whatsoever. And there are few of the non-natives that actually can understand them well in their language. So that's an ongoing process. But they are willing to learn, and they are open to listen. And so this is a mission that you are part of with us, is going to these people. I'm going to talk about the water well. Here they are preparing the land for drilling on this last trip. So last year we attempted to drill a well using a system that is by hand, where you basically employ a group of people and you slam a drill bit down, and we learned this in Paint Rock, Texas. The team that was down there was not able to drill the well deep enough. There were just too many challenges at the time, and they ended up getting only about 25 feet down and had to stop. So that's why they came back to Jose Angel and said, we need to try something different. So this time, and you can see Jose Angel, he's the one with the hat on there, on this last trip, they decided to take one of our drills down, the gas-powered drills, and that was among the 500 or 600 pounds of equipment. And they set that drill up, and they began to drill. And they drilled for days and days, and they had many challenges. Well, the first one was they ran out of the gasoline that had been brought from the mainland that was working real well. So they had to then buy gasoline from local natives, which was watered down, and it began to fail. The engine would not run properly. The carburetor would get jammed up. And so basically what happened was, after about 12 days of drilling, taking the carburetor apart, cleaning it, drilling again, the drill bit got stuck. And this is the last picture I've got for you. This is the group with some of the natives trying to get it unstuck. So they got down to 80 feet. They know that they hit water, but unfortunately, because they had to start and stop numerous times, the drill bit got stuck. They were not able to budge it. So finally I told Jose Angel, you guys get out of there. A lot of people were starting to get sick with malaria and with a couple of other mosquito-borne diseases. And so they returned home. They returned and got back safely about 7 or 8 days ago. And so everything's good. We're now having to plan another trip back down there, probably in October. On the positive side, many inroads were made with the people of that community. The community leaders got together with Jose Angel and asked him to please come back and to see if they could finish the well. And so we are going to consider that and think about that. But in the meantime, many inroads were made with the people there in building relationships with them. Barriers of trust were broken down. And so this is not all that we're doing, but this is something that really occupied a lot of our time the last 30-40 days. And so that's the update I wanted to bring you right now. There's a lot of other things going on at the camp, other things that we're working on and planning right now, but I wanted to let you guys know what happened on this trip because a lot of people asked about it. And so with that, I'm going to stop the recording.